All right. So this meeting is June 11th, the Inventors Roundtable Virtual West, and we are recording. The topic is Scams, Scoundrels, and Other Saboteurs. It is a two-part series. This one is dealing with legal things that look official, USPTO stuff that you get. And the one on the fourth Monday will be the marketing scoundrels that try to take your money and give you nothing back for it. So you'll be able to share experiences. We love to hear, what you've seen, what's happened. Our speaker tonight and expert question answer is Ray Baraska. And he is an attorney. He's a senior partner of RTB Law Offices. So he has certainly seen a lot of the scams and scoundrel stuff that's come through over the last 20 years. And, it is always interesting to see the next thing that comes out and how we have to deal with it. I know that there were a couple of sessions we dealt with artificial intelligence, and there are times when I could put that into a scam folder as well. But, hey, that topic is over. We're going to talk about some of the other ones. So I'm going to let you guys, introduce yourself a little bit, and if you can, tell us what you invented. And I know you can tell us what you invented because it's awesome.
Okay, I can start.
Let you go first. That is definitely one that I'm hoping that Pronto Launch would say, yes, that is a home run.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's been a journey. So what I have, it's still patent pending. So it's patented in China. In China, it's a little bit faster. So it's patent pending in United States. It's a Christmas tree tent. So till now, the Christmas tree is like standing there like a tree, right? But now children and pets, of course, can go inside the Christmas tree. So it's a 6 feet tall. It's a teepee year round. And then for Christmas time, on top of the teepee, we add the Christmas tree with branches, with lights, everything. Inside the dome, the teepee, there is a voice-activated infinity light that when children are inside, they clap or they sing. The lighting inside will change intensity, colors, and all that. So yeah, this is my product. I've been working since 2 years now. Last year, I did the Kickstarter campaign in November. It went pretty well, and now I am in the final stages of certification because I have changed my factory, so I need a new CPC certification for the product, and then I will start production, ship to backers, and then hopefully I can do a bigger run this year to sell in United States. From the Kickstarter campaign, I have sold to UK, Australia, Canada, and USA. So yeah,
Very good.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
All right, Tony, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself. If you're, got a product out there, let us know what it is. And if you can't say anything, just let us know.
Sure. So I have been working on a product that really is catered towards kids and adolescents. And it's a device that you can put on their eyeglasses to make them more personalized. I do have a provisional patent, which is about to expire next month, the end of next month, because I was involved in a scandal kind of situation that happened to me.
Okay.
Many months went by, and it kind of, unfortunately, I lost a lot of months getting it, tested and things like that.
All right. Well, this is the place to be for tonight. Eli, introduce yourself. Tell us where you are located geographically and kind of what brought you to the meeting.
Okay, I'm located in Brooklyn, New York.
My old hometown.
Yeah, and where are you located?
I grew up when I was young along the Ridgewood area.
Oh, okay. And you, if I may ask, America's inventor lady?
Oh, I grew up in South Dakota in the Black Hills. Now I live in Eastern Tennessee.
Oh, okay. So I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Eli. Anyways, so I invented a product that cleans a cat washer.
It cleans a what?
It cleans cats.
Okay, okay.
So basically, what it does is that it removes shedding from the cat and allergens from the cat. So as a result, there's always a cat that has got no allergies, no shedding. As a result, there's no shedding in the house.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I've invented.
excellent.
And now I hope, I really hope that there's one company that I know the owner, and that I will introduce my product to him. And I've worked with him in the past, and he is not only did he work with me, but he also produced the product and sold it, and everything went okay. Except, the prices started being the problem. But this one is not expensive. It's not expensive. It eliminates shedding, it eliminates the allergens, and the thing is, it's forever. So if this item, when you have that, a pet owner has that in their house, they will never have any shed or allergens ever again.
That's awesome. I mean, there's so many kids these days that would love to have a cat and they've got allergies. So cool product. All right. So is it a thing, or is it a shampoo or an oil? What is it?
It's like a car wash. Cat goes through a certain opening, and
Okay.
as it goes through the opening, it gets treated.
Okay.
It's like a car wash. It's what's called a cat washer.
Okay. Interesting. All right. And so the cat doesn't hate you when it comes out the other end.
Exactly. Not only that, he loves you.
Okay.
He loves it because it's going through brushes at the entrance. Okay, it's like this. If you see the face, it's going through brushes when it goes into the litter box and when it comes out from the litter box. So and these brushes, there are certain types of brushes that as it goes in, the loose hair goes on the brushes.
Cool.
It's a car wash.
Yeah, for cats.
Cat car wash. Sounds
Yeah, there
good.
you go.
I call it a cat washer.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Cool. Hey, George, how are you tonight? All right, we lost you and you're muted.
May I ask, Raymond, what have you invented?
Oh, I'm an attorney. I've worked with inventors for, well, if you count Silicon Valley, probably something in the order of 30 years.
Oh, so what kind of, you just basically file patents or?
No, but startups, mergers and acquisitions, venture capital, all sorts of financings. I started my career with Wall Street and moved west when the dot-coms caught on. Was in Silicon Valley during the dot-com era. Did a lot of deals in Silicon Valley. And then I moved to Colorado and I worked with younger people who were involved in the startup communities in Boulder and in Denver. And then eventually came back east.
So he is the senior partner for RPB Law Offices, and then the senior patent attorney. He's been a guest speaker at different meetings where he talks about it. But Ray's here tonight to talk about the scams and the scoundrels. what to watch for. We see a lot of that stuff coming in from it's got a USPTO logo on the information that the inventors get sent. Where those scammers grab that is when you get to the point of 18 months, your patent is public, and it always has the inventor's information on it. All right. The USPTO will only send information via mail to the attorney of record, not to you. Normally, if you get something with that goofy logo on it, that USPTO, it looks real. It looks absolutely real. But if you're getting something and you have a registered attorney doing the work for you, they would be getting it, not you. It's a scam. And they tell you all kinds of nasty things. You know, you're about to be abandoned. You know, you've got this deadline, and they're scamming. And we have seen it happen multiple times to inventors. They'll send me stuff. They'll call me and they'll say, I got this in the mail. What is this? And it's like, it's a scam. You know, text messages. The USPTO is not going to text you that you have a deadline.
No.
Right. They're just not going to do it. All right. And if you've got an attorney of record, they're going to send anything to him. They're going to post it in his log, and he's going to contact them on your behalf. You can call them and ask them for information, but they are not going to send you a letter. They're not going to send you a text message, and they're not going to call you on the phone and say, oh, by the way, you have a deadline next week. Ain't going to happen that way. And that is one of the big panic attacks that I see from inventors that we work with, is when they get that mail and it looks real. I mean, I've gotten it, you know, I've gotten it for different clients, and it's like, really? It looks absolutely real. So I invited Ray to talk to us tonight about, you know, things to watch out for, what to do when you get them, answer questions if you have them, as far as, you know, the corporatese type of business planning for the inventors. And so, you know, that way, like Tony, you know, what happened to you, you can ask questions, you know,
Right.
what's going on, get the real story. All right.
Great.
Yeah.
So Ray, go ahead and, you know.
Right. One of the things that we've been talking about lately is the independent inventor, or what I call the solo independent inventor. A lot of inventions are created by people working alone, either with or without a significant other in the picture. And one of the problems that they feel, that most of these independent solo inventors feel, is this sense of isolation.
Yes.
And so it's very easy emotionally for someone to want to reach out in order to secure some support, some help, some wisdom in terms of what the next steps are, how to take the next steps, what next steps are the right next steps. And because of that, the solo independent inventor, has become, over the decades, a target of a whole host of different predatory people and organizations that feed off that sense of isolation and maybe even to some extent helplessness. You have an idea, you're convinced it's a great idea, you want to move forward, but you're paralyzed by the fact that you don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
You don't know the order of things. Now, the problem is that because the independent inventor has become a target, it's really important that they develop connections with organizations and with particular individuals that they can trust.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a big one for the solo independent inventor. So who do you have to be careful about trusting? All right, there's a whole host of villains and scoundrels and people who are willing to take advantage of you, organizations willing to take advantage of you. One of the first groups of people, believe it or not, are the people that appear to you to be perhaps the most helpful.
Yes.
So who would that be? Well, for many people, it's your friend who's the lawyer, or it's your friend who's a business accountant, or maybe it's some marketing fellow or a marketing gal. And what many inventors think of doing, especially given the fact that organizations and shows like Shark Tank have caught on, is, well, I need more people around me. So why don't I invite my lawyer, this accountant that I know, maybe this marketing person into my orbit, and make them a part of my company.
Yeah.
Give them a share in my company.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is that those kinds of people generally contribute very, very little. Statistically, over time, what you will discover is that those kind of people contribute very, very little to the success of your business. And yet, when it comes time for you to actually monetize your business, they want a piece of it. So you invite them in too early. And this can apply to investors as well. You've got to be really careful about taking first money in, because what we see happen, and Rita has given me clients or referred clients to me, where they were caught at the very moment where they were supposed to be able to license their product. They were caught in binds where they had to sort out what the other parties that they had invited into their business were going to get out of the deal. And in many cases, what it does is it screws the pooch. Literally, it ruins the deal, because whoever is willing to do the deal with you all of a sudden discovers that they have to deal with this myriad of other people and their interests and their expectations. So that's a watch out. Do not let people share in your invention until you're very, very sure that they are going to contribute something. And if it's an investor, make very sure that if they're going to invest, that they invest a substantial sum of money, and that you don't give away your company in the process, because they will be your worst nightmare down the road when you actually get to the point of having done everything carefully, which is hard to do as an independent inventor, and yet now you're stymied at the very last minute because you can't move forward, because these other interests are creating too much of a problem for the person you want to do the deal with. All right, so that's a set of not necessarily villains, but people who create problems for solo independent inventors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next, let's look at all of the invention promotion companies, and there are many of them. Any invention promotion company that requires you to pay them a fee up front before you know whether or not you really have something is a scam. Okay, I will say it outright. In fact, so much of a scam that the Federal Trade Commission has gotten involved in the business of policing scam invention promotion companies. The problem is that every time they name one as a scam, they have to fight with them in court. And so what ends up happening frequently is they settle out of court. And so all of the invention promotion companies that are out there don't necessarily get listed as villains on the Federal Trade Commission page. But take my word for it, if they are charging you up front, they are a scam. If someone approaches you and wants to have you give them money up front without providing a service that you know you can absolutely use and that you absolutely need at that moment, consider that a scam. Okay, so we've covered accountants, lawyers, people that want a piece of your action early on, about being very careful, investors as well. Invention promotion companies is another category. Let's look at a third category. Inventing organizations that are national trade associations. Okay? Trade associations in any industry are never going to serve your interests. They're going to serve the interests of the people who run the trade association. Okay, so be really careful about letting them charge you for services that you may not need. Be very careful about paying the money for services that you have not been able to validate as being essential or necessary, or even services that will actually move you further down the road. So that's another category of scam. That's a big one. What we've learned about large national organizations that are supposedly dedicated to the independent inventor is that the whole purpose of the organization is to make money for the few people that control that organization. Okay, so that's another watch out. Why don't you provide some that you've come across, Rita?
Well, you did a good job covering one of the things that, the invention promotion companies, they've got basic templates. So they always tell you it's a wonderful idea. And then here's the invoice for 10 grand. They don't care if the product ever gets to market because they've made their money off of you. And so for a lot of inventors, they don't find out until it's too late. And then they can't, it's hard to get out of those contracts. There's some other service providers, if they take a piece of your invention, they'll frequently want more than they should be entitled to. There's a gentleman that I know, he'll take 50% ownership and then he'll do the prototype for you. But now he's in a controlling interest part on making money and you still have to pay the bills. So you just have to be careful. You've got to be open and ask questions. It's, it's just some of the things that we've learned and I've seen inventors go through. There was one gentleman, he had a very cool product. His manufacturer basically took it over and there was one word in his contract that tied him to this guy forever. And he couldn't get out of it. And he wanted out, but he couldn't get out because of that one word in it. And we had 2 different attorneys look at it and it took them 15 minutes to say, it's right here, here's the word. Didn't even tell them what was in it. And both of them picked out exactly what it was. And this guy was, an older gentleman, couldn't pay to sue him, couldn't pay for the contract. That was just it.
Right.
And so
I had a similar issue. Yeah.
Yeah. And lots of folks do. And for some, by the time you realize it,
Yeah.
no matter how cool the product is, it's over. It's done. So, Anna, if you were able to get out and survive, good for you.
Yeah, it cost me a little bit. It cost me more than maybe 1 year and over $100,000.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I had a mentor. It was when I had the idea, and he said that, oh, I can help you find factories. Let's make the prototype. I want like 5% from your company, and then let's make it right in China. You stay at home. You have a baby. I will be on your on the ground over there. And then he had double me. So. I paid for the molds, most of this $72,000 for some molds that I cannot use. He, in some ways, like, oh, this is the way, this is the only way. And then he had another agreements with the factory that he has a piece from the factories also, samples, and yeah, a lot. I got that, but yeah, time and money. Every mistake is time and money.
For sure.
Time and money.
Tony?
And one of the things too, it's an unfortunate thing. You will find that United States Patent and Trademark Office. Now, right now, during this particular time, the USPTO is headed by a very, very good individual who cares deeply about the solo independent inventor. And he's taken some major steps to improve the organization and to improve their processes so that the independent inventor stands a better chance of being able to sustain a challenge to the independent inventor's patents. And he's also tried to restructure the organization so that it's more friendly to solo independent inventors. And that was not always the case. I can remember one lawsuit in which I defended 2 different clients at the same time. And in that lawsuit, the United States Patent and Trademark Office was trying to basically crucify one of the clients for something very, very, very insignificant. And I had on the stand a retired police officer. And the retired police officer answered questions about my clients, and basically told the administrative law judge, no, my clients have been, these people have been incredible. They've been so helpful, and they've gotten me, down the road. And what was kind of interesting is he decided to volunteer that he had been taken advantage of by a company, I believe it was Invent Home, or one of the invention promotion companies. And he said, no scoundrels, they took $10,000 and they do. So what I was able to do at that point is turn to the USPTO lawyers and say, why don't you go after those people instead of picking on clients like my clients?
Right.
And it made a very, very solid point, because the USPTO is incredibly lazy, or has been traditionally incredibly lazy when it comes to policing the bad guys that are out there, the true bad guys. You will see the USPTO do programs with a lot of invention promotion companies side by side without saying one word about how awful these invention promotion companies are for the solo independent inventors. So again, if you go through the list of villains, a villain doesn't always look like a villain.
Right.
I mean, you have friends, quote, you have investors, you have invention promotion companies, you have national trade associations, you have the USPTO itself. So there are many, many ways in which independent inventor, especially what I call a newbie, can be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And so the first thing you need to do as an independent inventor is you need to develop a relationship with a group or an inventing club or whatever it is, where you've actually done your due diligence and you've checked it out and you've gotten to the bottom of who they or it is, and that they are trustworthy. And the best people to ask about whether an organization is trustworthy are other inventors.
Yeah.
People who are new, people who are kind of in midstream, and people who have done this thing repeatedly over and over again. So trust other inventors, especially ones that have been through the barrel, because their experiences are invaluable to you.
Right.
And be very careful about anybody who puts on garments of respectability, because more often than not, they will be looking to tap your wallet. That will be their primary objective.
Yeah.
So Tony, how did you survive?
So when I thought about this idea, I was a headhunter, recruiter, executive recruiter for 36 years. So, inventing and product was new to me and is new to me. Long story short, I reached out to an inventor association, and I talked to a gentleman who I felt very comfortable with. He spoke the part. He very charismatic personality, 501(c) organization, quote unquote, here to help the inventors who don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I put my blind trust in him. I looked at references. I did check out references, and the organization got good references. He had done seminars and talked, at the USPTO and the local news stations. Long story short, I met with him. I spoke with him in November of last year. I sent him a check in December of last year, which was supposedly for half the cost of the tooling for my product. And I just never got anything from him. And of course, I'm trying, being new to this, I'm trying to play the good wife. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I'm trying to be as gracious and professional as possible. Well, months going by, and he is still not giving me anything. Making excuses for them being busy in China, the Chinese New Year is happening, all of these different things. So when I finally kind of put the rubber to the road. And I said to this gentleman, okay, it's been, and we're now at March. He still has nothing for me, and he has $1,000 of my money. I said, what is happening? This isn't a medical device. This is just a very simplistic invention. And that's when I saw the wheels changing.
Mm-hmm.
He would cancel meetings on me. He would make excuses that they're working on it and all of those things. And when I finally said, okay, I want to give you a timeline, because he said, I'll give you 1/2 an hour of my time, where I used to be able to speak with him freely, very readily.
Mhm.
And kind of got the timeline. And I said, I initially talked with you in November. I sent you a check. In December, I reached out to you in February asking, oh yeah, I have to call them. Reached out to you again in March. And then when I finally, kind of held him accountable, that's when I saw the whole thing change.
Another phase.
I could throw out about 4 names that would fit that description. So yeah, we do hear that on a pretty regular basis, and it's unfortunate. And, it's like, I tell inventors, it's like, all right, yeah, you've got to pay for the prototyping. You've got to pay for the manufacturing. They require things up front. And for some, we've got one company that we work with on a regular basis, and he gives the estimate within usually a week to 10 days.
Yeah.
He's got some, he gives the ballpark. He says, okay, he's going to come in at this, we're looking at a multiple of 5, and he goes, he's come in this range. So until we know that, it's really hard to do anything else. There's some devices like Wendy's, we know it's got to be made in the US because it's a medical device. So we know that. And so that's different. It takes longer when we're looking for somebody in the US that's going to make it in a certain price point with medical grade materials.
Right.
It does make a difference. So we know some of that. But there's the guys out there that take money and run. And, we have seen so many of them just in the last few years. There was one gentleman in Florida. And if you didn't, you had to pay half up front. And if you didn't make the other payment, he threatened to steal your intellectual property.
Oh my God.
And
My son was in Florida. He didn't, I'm wondering if it's the same. Located in Florida with a reputable organization, United Inventors Association. You see their name all.
we know who it is. We know who it is. Yeah.
It was him. It was him.
That
Yeah.
you got to be careful there. You really have to be careful
Don't
there.
say it out loud. Don't say any of the
No,
words.
no, right.
I
right.
I had a pretty good idea who you were talking about.
Yes.
It's unfortunate. It really is. And there are things that, when we're looking at, it's got to be medical grade material. It's got to be in the US. No, it can be in China. No, it can be in Thailand. Oh, did you know that all the porcelain in the world comes from Mexico? No, my inventor didn't know that. He found out too late. And so he was shipping the porcelain from Mexico to China to make a toilet. He could have had it made in Mexico.
Wow.
And so, it's like, all right, now he's out of business. So, asking the questions, learning the things, there's a group that's got a program that's how to, it's called the patent. It's how to make your patent pay for you, how to get it to market, how to make money on your patent. I can remember the acronym, but I can't remember the words. But I will post that. I'll send it out to the emails and post it. And it's really just basically on what to be careful of, what to know, when can you do different things, learning the intellectual property process, and it's free and it's virtual. So you can learn some of that stuff, but you can call me. All right. I've been doing this for 20 years, so you can call me. And, George is a client, Wendy's a client, and, we've been working with them for a long time. And, you know, George's patents have issued and Wendy's is pending. And she has got Wendy, introduce yourself and tell everybody what you got, but you're muted. There you go. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Sorry, I was a little late.
That's
Had
okay.
to meet the parents, but mine is a medical device. It's a little holder that will hold a pacifier into a newborn, but it's for premature babies in the hospital. So they learn how to suck.
Mhm.
And yes, I got taken by someone in Florida as well. He reached out and was going to help, and yeah, I took my money. And then I got a letter when I threatened. I said it will come together, and I will get this going. And when I do, I'm coming after you for my money. And then I got a letter. Oh, we went out of business because the factories in China aren't working because of the tariffs and stuff, which I know isn't true. So
About Florida. These were two different guys. So, you know, move.
yeah, I'm in Albuquerque. So I mean,
Shoot, yeah. Oh, shoot. So, you know, yeah, we've certainly seen it. And we did talk about you today, Wendy.
oh, you did.
We did. We
Good.
got an update on looking for that manufacturer in the US because we know it's got to be done here and
Okay.
and stuff. So yeah, you're high on the list and so it's, you know, it's always sad to see when the inventors tell the story. It's great when you can get back on track because
Yeah.
some products are just awesome and they make a difference in the world and they make the world a better place. And so, you know, when we're looking at all of the scams and the scoundrels and the saboteurs that you've got to weed through, it's like going through a scary forest every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
George, introduce yourself and tell everybody what you've got.
Hello, everybody. I'm George Butler, and I've got my latest invention, quite a few over the years. When you work in aerospace with ideas, aerospace really, that's but aerospace. Okay, so I've got those. And
George, you're coming and going.
Yeah.
really,
The voice.
And your voice is
this better. Is this better?
yes.
I
Yeah.
think I had. Oh, you know, I think the speaker is on the bottom. I had it sitting on soft material.
There you go.
My latest invention has to do with pets, and it's a new pet leash. And the original pet leash, a snap hook, was designed and patented in 1897. Try that one out. And so obviously it's no longer patented because that one ran out. And that's what everybody likes to use. But you got to use your thumb to draw back the little pin. Okay. And I had a little case of what's that called when you have why can't I think of that? Anyway, it was hurting. And I thought we got to come up with a better way to can I show the product? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
So here it is. I call it the Q leash, and this is about the 4th iteration of it. So you can see this. And the way it works is you squeeze it, it opens up, and once you let go, it grabs onto the hook or whatever. Here's an example. In fact, here's the leash, and you can just go like that. One, flip it on, then twist it, turn it off, and it's lightweight. It's very strong, and I think it's going to be a winner. I hope. See, winner. Let's see. But, yeah, I've come a long way with this. I like it, but it's still. I have a bigger one of these. Okay, I made it small, and it's easier to maybe a new product.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up again, George.
Anyway, so I'm hoping PetSmart will come, but this one company you were talking about, patents, people that will help you with your product. That would be you, Rita.
Yep. Like the PetSmarts and the Pets.com, all of that shelf space is owned by 4 companies.
Oh, okay.
So you can't, if you go to them and you get the name of the one company that owns all of the pet leashes.
Okay.
All right. They're the only ones. That's it.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay, thank
No,
you.
I know. We learned that about 10, 15 years ago with a product called the Tagabiner, because it was a new holder for the pet tags. And they couldn't get it into the stores because the few owners of the shelf space didn't want anything to do with it. All right, so what do you do? Okay, so it's like, where do people lose their dog tags? At the dog parks and the doggy
Correct.
daycares. And so they sold these things all over the country to the doggy daycares. And so sometimes you just have to be smarter than the big guys and
Okay.
more determined. So,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what they did. And they've since gone out of business. One of them got sick. And,
Wow.
you know, sometimes when, you know, your product is growing and you hit a level and it's like, you can't do it. You can't do everything. All right. So what do you do then? All right. You know, there's all of these predators out there waiting, you know, to take advantage of you. How do you find, you know, the good guys? And you've got to be careful and you got to talk to people, find out what they do. And, you know, we've got a guy now, George, you might have met him. He was with the ASD Market Week 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And his name was Craig Bush. He had the rep up. And
A rep up? What's that?
it's an exercise. It's an exercise for athletes.
Okay.
A training tool for athletes. And he's now got all kinds of interest, but he called me because I'm his licensing agent. And he said, I'm the coach. I'm not the businessman. So I need you to help me not get into trouble with this, because he goes, I'll never be a business executive. And this is a product that now Spalding wants. And he goes, they would eat me alive. And I go, yes, they will. So, you know, now we're, you know, looking at what are his options as far as, you know, getting it out there to a company, because I'm the coach,
Yeah.
I'm not the businessman. And for most inventors, you know, Wendy's a nurse, you know, she works neonatal. And, you know, doing business and manufacturing isn't in your sweet spot, besides the fact that you're taking care of your mother.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been really excited about this idea, which is now a for sure product. And it also is patented, fully patented. I just haven't gotten my certificate yet. I'm excited to get that.
Yep.
And work with you, Rita, to find some clients that will take this thing on and make us some money. It's all
That's
about
right.
the bottom line, the money.
Hallelujah.
Show me the money, honey.
You can talk all you want, but I want to see the money.
There you go.
Oh,
There you go. Eli, do
excited.
you have any other questions for us tonight?
For me, no, I'm good. I'm excited, and we'll talk some more. Okay.
Absolutely. All right.
So get this. I'm up in Flagstaff. I'm helping my daughter move from Mesa, Arizona to Flagstaff because her husband got a better job, and so I drove all day from. It's like 2.5 hours to get up here. I know, but it is cooler up here. I'll say that much. Mesa's about 110, and up here it's about 89.
That's
right now.
great. That's
It
great.
is. It
Being in
really
the
is
desert
nice.
and having a mild climate like that.
So yeah, they went to dinner without me, and just a couple of minutes ago, so I'd like to join them. And I have to thank you so much, Rita, for your hard work. And I thanked Malcolm. Okay, does everybody know Malcolm? He's a patent attorney, a licensed patent attorney, and he is a marvelous. He got this thing through, and I'm so happy. I am. This is a wonderful time because I've got a lot of patents, but none of them, only one of them made money. That's a whole nother story. I could talk all night about that one, but it did make some money. And get this, my client for this other patent was Procter & Gamble.
Well,
Can you believe that?
Interesting. Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
didn't make millions, but I made some money. Yeah.
There
yeah.
you go. There you go.
Cool.
Tell Sheila we said hi.
Hey, I sure will.
All
Good
right.
night, y'all, and have a wonderful week. And can't wait to get together for another Inventors Roundtable.
We will talk to you soon, George. Take care.
Yeah.
guys.
Thank
Bye-bye
you.
now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And Raymond, thank you for that information. I
You're
did
welcome.
not know. That
Yep.
That's important. Okay. Take care.
You too.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions or anything you want to discuss tonight?
I
want
do have a question.
more?
Because I lost so much time working with this gentleman, my provisional is due to expire at the end of next month. I haven't had any time to test it.
Okay.
How should I go about the the expiring provisional? Should I get a, non-provisional filed before I lose my place? And what should I put in it?
Okay, you've got three options. Okay, so the first one is not the best one, but the first one is you can refile your provisional, but you lose your original filing date. Okay, not the best option. You can take the provisional and you can have a registered patent attorney. I can send you Malcolm's name. He used to be an examiner. He was George's attorney. He's Wendy's attorney. And he can file the non-provisional. And what he'll do is he'll flesh out what was there and put in the claims.
Okay.
Right. And get it done before it expires, so it protects your original date.
Right.
And then as you're going through then the prototyping stage, if you've got any changes, any improvements, and this is the third option, you can file a CIP. We've got another inventor that's getting ready to do that, because the first one was almost too broad, and now the examiner is requiring it to be narrowed down.
I did this. Yeah, I did that. Yeah,
So-
I just did it in April.
Yeah, and the CIP allows you to make changes, additions, any requirements by the USPTO. So you can still make changes and additions to a non-provisional. It's just called a CPI.
Okay. Yeah, I would love his name.
Yeah,
Contact.
you've got my email address, right?
I don't think so.
Okay,
From the email, from the confirmation link.
yeah. Well, everybody found it out different ways. Use Rita, R-I-T-A, at inventorlady.com.
Okay.
All right. And if you Google my name, Rita Crompton, you're going to find more references and contact information than you care to.
Okay, great.
My phone number is everywhere. They're going to etch it on the side of my casket. I'm taking it with me. So, and you can Google the website as well, inventorlady.com, and my phone number is there.
Okay, great. Great.
And yeah, we'll get that information. And that way, then you can go ahead and file it and get it done.
So you can add stuff
Yeah.
with
You can add anything now, all right, to the non-provisional, but after you file the non-provisional, you can add later, and it's called the CIP. And all the attorneys know about it.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, I was confused as to, how I should go about that.
Yes.
I
That's
have one
easiest way.
one little question.
Yeah.
Do you think that an inventor can trust his attorney?
Are you asking me or are you asking Raymond?
We're asking everybody.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, he asked, can you, and
Claims that an attorney's gonna go behind your back?
Raymond wrote an article today, kind of touching on that. He asked if you can trust your attorney.
It depends.
Let me
It
give you the
depends.
legal answer. It
There-
depends.
There's two ways to look at attorneys, especially in the inventing realm area. Either they're very honest. Well, there's three ways actually. They're either very honest, but not very competent. They're very honest and competent, or they're dishonest and they're incompetent. Okay? Those are the three types of attorneys that practice in the inventing realm. One of the big problems with an attorney who's practicing in the inventing area is, as most attorneys have to do, he or she has to earn a living. Okay. So some attorneys who are more focused on earning a living than servicing their clients, what they will do is they will write a patent for you that is extremely narrow.
Oh, okay.
It will be-
Yeah. And then you get letters, and then
It will be very narrow and it will be granted. But the reason it gets granted so quickly without a lot of back and forth between your attorney and the USPTO is because it's too narrow. And what it means is that when you actually get it, and let's say your product is successful, it means your product is going to be knocked off by competitors very easily. So that's one type of attorney you can't trust. It doesn't matter what they charge, whether they charge $1 million or very few dollars. If their focus is to write patents as opposed to servicing their clients, looking out for their clients' best interests, you can get scammed without even knowing you're being scammed. You actually celebrate that you get a patent and you don't realize that your patent is worthless. because it's very easy to get around. So that's the
Okay.
first, that's the first kind of
every
attorney.
word count, every small word.
No,
Change.
there is one thing. I came to a decision that my only way to have success in this is if I work on a royalty basis with a company. Don't have the power to manufacture tools, go to China, any of that.
Right.
All the power I have is to invent, build my prototype, and take out a provisional patent. That's what I do. Now, my next step is that I would like to, especially now, I'm looking for a company that I want to introduce my product to. And I have to watch before I show them with the NDA, whatever the product is, I want to use an attorney. He should negotiate with them. And he knows the laws. In other words, let's say if I have a device, okay? And I want to introduce it to a company and work out some kind of a royalty deal, right?
Right.
Now, can't just show it to a company just like that because they're going to take it from you, right? Right or wrong?
Well, if you have a patent and the patent is sufficiently
No.
broad,
Maybe if you have a patent, but look, the way I see it is like this. I take out a provisional patent myself and I write the details of the patent. I send it out into the patent office. I'm now protected for 1 year. Then what I want to do is contact the company that I think will be interested in my product, tell them about my product, and tell them that I'd like to introduce the product to them. And if they say they're interested in looking at the product, then there comes the doubts. You're going to show them the product, even if I'm
You must
protected.
sign an agreement before giving the exact.
Exactly. So you got to sign an agreement. Now, the thing is with the agreements, they have their lawyers,
Yeah.
and they have their interests, not yours at all. That's what you got to remember. They have completely their own interests. They couldn't care less what happens to you. Okay, that's a fact. That's the way I see it. No trust, no nothing. Only thing is by law. I want the law. So I'm not able to do that. I'm not an attorney. So what I want to do is I'm now finding an attorney that can work for me to introduce the product and use all the legal, whatever is needed legally to introduce the product. In other words, you say, we'll write to you to introduce this product. You agree that you saw this in this picture. You agree you saw this in this video. It explains what this does and what that does. You agree that you saw that, and that you signed that you have no right to produce this without the inventor's permission.
Yeah, that's Fantasyland. All right.
that's what I was going to say too.
This is the reality.
Yeah. Can I step in here?
I just want to finish.
Can I step in here for a minute?
No, just a minute, and then you can interrupt me. And my challenge here now is to find the right attorney that I can be open with. Actually, you come to think of it, I don't even have to be open with my attorney. I myself first go and I'll file for provisional patent myself. And now when I go to my attorney to work for me, I'm protected. He knows very well that I have a provisional patent. So I don't have to trust him that much. just got this clarified. I don't have to trust him. I don't need, you got to protect yourself first. And if I'm able to take out my own provisional patent, and then I want to find, I'm now in middle of finding the right attorney that is going to do the work for me, meaning I'm going to give him the name of the company, and I'm going to tell him, and I'm going to call up the company and tell them, look, I have this and this item. If you're interested about it, please talk to my attorney. Talk to my attorney. My attorney is going to tell him exactly what it is according to law. And he's going to say, you want to see it? Okay, we're going to sign an NDA, and everything is going to be according to law. So the company that sees this will know that they signed an NDA, and they need to abide by that NDA, and it's going to be solid tight that you can feel protected that they are not going to go ahead and produce it. If they want to produce it, fine. If they don't want to produce it, they sign. They have no right to produce this and this product based on what they were shown. Now I'm looking for the right attorney, and I'm going to find. I'm in the middle of finding it, and and then there's one more thing that I wanted to ask. I called up many promotion companies, like you said, right? They introduced the invention, and I never thought of even spending anything if the company asks up front. So I found a company that says we're not asking up front. We'll look at the product. For me, I think it said free, no charge. If they like it and if they take it, they'd like to be my partner in the royalties. You see?
So you found a company that's willing to do that?
Yes.
Then go with them by all means.
I am doing it.
Because the truth is that what Rita said is true. It's fantasy. Okay? The only people that end up shortcutting the process when it comes to intellectual property are people who have a enormous idea. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a company that has factories and they have a big problem with water pollution. You, as an inventor, come up with something that actually cleans the water, this dirty discharge, as it goes out, so that when it ends up in the river, it's cleaner than the river itself. Okay. Yes, those companies will sit down and talk to you, and they might even license it from you. If you don't have something that big, forget it. They don't even want to talk to you. And if you don't have a registered patent attorney, most licensees don't want to give you the time of day. That is solid advice that I'm giving you over 20 years. Okay. And if you file your own provisional patent, guess what? You're toast. So if you want to do it right, the first thing you do is you find a registered patent attorney that you can trust. Okay? That's important. That is the most important thing you can do at the beginning, is find a registered patent attorney. A person that's registered with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Don't take your local friend who says he can write a patent for you. Because if he writes a patent, he's not registered, guess what happens? Your patent gets canceled. And in addition, he gets in trouble or she gets in trouble. So the first step that you need to do is find a registered patent attorney that you trust and talk to him about your plan, or her, and they will guide you. If you can find a good one, they will guide you, because I didn't finish when you asked the question, can you trust your attorney? Yes, you can trust registered patent attorneys who care about you and who care about more than just making money off of you. Okay?
I learned that I had an attorney that really was honest, but when it came, he really meant his own interests. I don't.
Eli, there are some of them, absolutely.
Yeah, but he's entitled to.
Anyways. There was one, I've met other attorneys that they've done kind of what you've asked, where they filed the non-provisional, pro se, no way. Legally, can you file your own? Yes. Legally, you can be your own representative. Should you? No. All right. Ever. So what you look at then is, are there patent attorneys out there that will do the work because they believe in your product and then they will help you find a licensing deal? Yes. Will a legitimate company out there license a provisional? No. All they have to do is wait for it to expire and then file their own. So you've got to be careful in, when you're talking about what you want done. There are attorneys that will, help negotiate a deal for half the royalties. If you want to be married to them forever, then
Yeah.
that's your call. All right,
willing to do that. It's better.
fine.
It's better
There are
that
some out there that
than
will do that.
nothing.
All right,
Now, let me ask you a question.
but
The
one
licensing
the attorney got to have one that's filing the patent for you. All right, and then if that's not the one that you're gonna, that's going to negotiate for you, and you find one that will. I've run into attorneys over the 20 plus years that I've been doing this that have partnered with their clients, and they pick and choose carefully who they partner with, and
willing to do that.
then then you're off to the races.
Right. No, but I'm looking for that, and I'm looking for an attorney that is good. But the thing is that he's got to do the work, the legwork to find the companies, right? That's what it does.
No, you're back in fantasy land. Okay.
They do the filing for you, and they help counsel you through the process so that you're going to be in a position to license your invention.
So
to a
that's the
company.
only thing they do. They just license.
Yes, license, royalty.
It's not for me. No,
Yeah, they're not going to pay for they're not going to pay for the manufacturing. They're not going to pay
No,
for
I'm not talking about manufacturing. I'm talking about a company that is going to, let's say this product is in the pet
you
field.
still got to have functional prototypes. You've got to have proof of concept prototypes.
Just a
And again, what we absolutely know from years and years of experience, because there are people out there that actually do this, but those are people that have very, very large inventions that solve problems that save large corporations millions and millions of dollars. It is so clear to the corporation when that person walks in that this person has a solution to something that's been plaguing that corporation, that business forever. Those are the kind of people that can actually shortcut the process. There are people out there that have that business model, but most inventions don't rise to that level, that order of magnitude. And most licensees will be very dismissive of you if you don't have a registered patent attorney doing the work for you, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the credibility that a registered patent attorney brings to the process. And yes,
a lady a couple of years ago licensed her product.
Quick question. Does anybody know of a company that peddles your invention through the internet, through the phone, meaning they sit down, let's say I have a pet product, and they're, I don't know, 50 pet companies, right? That have a chance. Is there a company that does that work? They say, hello, this is it, I represent so. Are you interested in this and this product? Do you know of a company that does that?
No, not for free. They're going to charge you up front.
Not for free. No, I'm willing to pay.
No, they're going to charge you up front.
Without a guarantee of success. They're going to charge you up front, and all they're going to do
for the work. All I'm looking for is for them to make the calls and find one, whatever they have. If they're like 100 companies, I'd like to see if
they're in the category that we call scoundrels.
Yeah, exactly.
They're in the category we call scoundrels.
Right.
Because they charge you up front and they don't promise any results. They've got no skin in the game.
Right.
Even if you offer them royalties, they're still not going to, they might take the royalties, but a promise of nothing is still nothing. So they're still going to charge you up front. And there are a lot of those companies out there, Eli. There really are.
There was a business model
company that I think I found. The name is Invention City.
Mm-hmm.
I looked them up, and a lot of whatever it says on the website, they're brutally honest. They're this and that. Whatever I read, you can make things up. But when I spoke to them, and they sounded that they're we're not going to use any upfront. We're going to peddle the product. They told me we've got a certain amount of names. We're going to go take your product, your provisional or prototype or already patented product, then I may do that. And they will do the calling, the introduction. They will do the legwork. That's what I'm talking about. The legwork to find the right company, the right one out of 100.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I found that, and that's what I think. That I spoke to them. I think that was the
They have a
impression that I got.
Sure, they have a base script. I could call them right now and tell them what I've invented, and they would tell me the same thing. That's their script.
But
That's what they do.
But you don't pay them. You don't pay them unless unless they come back and say there's a deal.
And if you've got a provisional patent and that's all you've got, all they've got to do is wait for it to expire and sell your idea to somebody else that pays them.
If you don't produce it.
There you go.
That can happen. That can happen.
Yeah. So provisional patents
In other
are
words,
for a year.
if they're in business of, instead of doing the right thing and finding the right company, they're telling me they're going to be in business to play out, give me play out the game of about a certain amount of time, and not find the company. And the idea is they should take it for themselves. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. I don't think that any company that is interested in business would go that route. They would rather go be honest and find a company. That's
You know, after I've been doing this more than 20 years, and I've learned some very specific things that, you know, they're not etched in concrete on Mount Rushmore, but they could be. You never file your own patent work. All right. You've got to be really, really careful. All right. And the fantasy land is the fantasy land. It's hard work and it takes diligence and focus on getting it done. And there's no easy path up Mount Rushmore. It's a climb. It's a climb. So
It's not for anyone, right?
Yeah. I wish you the best of luck. I hope it works out for you.
I hope so too.
Proof of concept prototypes, good intellectual property, that's what we work with. And, you know,
So what do you work with?
I help inventors get their products licensed, but I help inventors license their intellectual property.
Can you say, I don't hear you.
I help inventors license their intellectual property.
Yeah, IP.
Oh, license.
License their intellectual property. All right.
So
I don't.
You're a licensing attorney?
No, I'm a licensing agent. I've got attorneys who work with me. I don't charge anything up front. All right. But there's got to be specific things in place. A good intellectual property. All right. Registered patent attorney. All right. It's got to be a product that makes a difference in the industry that it's in. You know, there's got to be proof of concept prototypes. That means the functioning prototypes that you could show at a trade show.
Yeah.
All right. And so those are the things that we look at. And then I work with a bunch of different companies.
I just discovered something about this Invention City. If you look at their brutally honest review, they give you a 15-minute phone call. They call it the Gold Plan, and they charge you $500.
And he told me that it will not charge me. So
okay.
Look, Eli, when you start to become defensive about the people you're thinking of using, that's a real good red flag that tells you maybe something is not quite right. Okay, that's all I can really say about it. Quite honestly, Rita, at this point, this is over for me. So I'm checking out.
All right. All right. Good night.
Did you just Google them?
All right. So anyway, be careful, Eli. Just be careful.
I'm glad I learned something.
Find out how long they've been in business.
And when are you going to have the next? You have another meeting like this?
Oh, we have 2 meetings a month.
This type of a meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When is the next one?
20 years. All right. So we've been around for a while. 20 years we've been doing this.
Oh, I didn't know. So which date is the next meeting?
It is the 4th Monday. The meetings are always the 2nd Thursday and the 4th Monday.
Okay, of the month.
Yep. All right. And it's always
you send it on emails, right?
We always have the link for the meeting tonight is always this Thursday night link. And then there's another link for the Monday meeting, but they have been the same for 5 years since I moved.
Anyways, you send the emails, right?
Yeah.
You send the, yeah, okay, yeah, that's all I gotta do. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look for the emails and.
So,
you know,
Next
like I
week,
did this time.
in 2 weeks, we're talking about the marketing, how difficult it is to marketing. So it's still, the main title, scams, scoundrels, and saboteurs, but it's not on the patent side and the contract and business side. It is on the marketing side, how easy it is to be taken advantage of by marketing companies. So that's the topic. And then it's a completely different topic coming up in July. So then I've got Michael Miller. This might be an interesting one for you, Eli, because Michael Miller used to work for Danco. All right. He was on the licensing company side of things. All right. They did all of the plumbing products for Home Depots in North America. And so what would they look at before they would license a product? They licensed a product from me 15 years ago called Disposal Genie, and they are still selling it all over North America.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
all right. So we're gonna
Right.
close?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are done for the evening. If you guys have any questions, Tony, shoot me an email so I can send
will.
you
Thank you.
information. Anna, I'm going to have you on the radio, and
Yeah.
Cindy, as soon as I've got a manufacturer for you, we will be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.